Hello and welcome back to another character preview video. My name's Lumin and today we're having a look at the First Descendant. This is a looter shooter. It's a third-person cooperative action RPG shooter in which you play as a Descendant. It's a character that inherits unknown powers and is tasked with protecting the world. Yeah? This game doesn't have a traditional character creation system. You pick a character. These are your first three choices. These are the starter characters. And once you finish the tutorial section, you will have all the characters available, but you have to unlock them first before you can use them. So you will be able to unlock them all. It'll just take some time. That's the way this game works. Now, I'm going to mention a few things here at the start. Firstly, the characters here, these first three, have the same stats. They have different abilities and different playstyles, but they have the same stats. And they also can use all the same guns. You can see these three have the same weapon equipped, all three of them. So all the characters can use all the weapons. You're not locked to certain weapons on certain characters. Then, finally, it has been said that they want to release unique and different cosmetics and skins for all the characters at some point. So that's it. That's the information that I know. And with all that out of the way, I'm going to say that the timestamps are quite important in this video. They'll allow you to jump to the previews of any of the heroes that you'd like to see. We're going to look at these three first. They're the starter characters. I want to say they're the most important. Then after that, we'll look at all the other ones once we're in the game proper. So, check those timestamps. Find what you're looking for. Leave happy. Let's get started. First, we have, I think that they pronounce this Lepic. I mean, to me it just says Lepic, but whatever. It's this guy. With Lepic around, the battlefield becomes more lively. With his unique right arm, he can show off some powerful attacks. He can draw in as many enemies as he wants using the traction grenade. So I mentioned that they all have the same stats, these stats, and you'll see the distribution of them. It's the same on all three of them. However, with the different abilities that they have, they do play vastly differently. So, active skills. He has a regular grenade, a power stream, which seems to be like a damage over time grenade. It increases attack and adds a burn effect. Cool. Traction grenade. It pulls enemies in. And then he has the arm launcher, which looks super cool. It fires a powerful shell at the enemy. The shell remains at the landing point for a set period of time. Yeah? Yeah. And then additional burns when power stream is active. Then his passive skill ignores all damage upon receiving fatal damage and recovers a certain amount of HP when the effect ends. It's called 9 lives. So that's your first one. Next one. Viessa.
It's over if you freeze it.
She has the ability to freeze Valgus using water in the atmosphere. She doesn't even care if the enemies dodge the ice spheres or ice sheets. Yeah, she doesn't care. Why would she? Her blizzard is like a natural disaster. There's no way to escape it. Okay. I'm just going to say it sounds like my daughter, who is 4 years old, wrote that description. I love it. It's fantastic. Ice beam. Fires an exploding ice beam inflicting damage and ice shackle around the area it hits. Frost fog. It increases running speed and shield and creates ice sheets on the ground where she stands. When the enemies come into contact with the sheets, they inflict with ice shackle. And we have ice wave. That's an ice arc of cold air in front, inflicting damage and ice shackle. And then blizzard. That's a snowstorm that explodes over time, inflicting damage and ice shackle on enemies. Then her passive is ice sphere. Upon inflicting stage 2 ice shackle on one or more enemies, it creates a sphere circling Viessa. Ice sphere inflicts ice shackle when striking enemies. So it's all about the frost on her. And then finally, we have Ajax.
Encountered the executioner, entering operation readiness.
He's a tank. Ajax, who came back alive from the void, is an expert in distorting physical space. His barrier allows his allies to attack without being attacked. Ajax is the only descendant who can immediately aid an ally in danger. Okay. He has reverse door. I'm not sure. That might be called a wall. But it creates a barrier in front of Ajax. Durability increases proportionally to Ajax HP and defense. It's the reverse door. Void walk. He leaps into the air and strikes enemies, stunning them. It says down there, if enhanced, max shield strength is increased. Each of them has an enhanced ability. Expulsion. Strikes nearby enemies, knocking them back. If enhanced, knockback range is increased. And then Hyper Cube creates a dome-shaped barrier. Durability increases. Wouldn't it have been called Hyper Sphere? Okay, I'm not going to nitpick here. Cool. Passive. Accumulate void energy when hit by an enemy projectile. Attack increases in proportion to the amount of void energy accumulated, and upon reaching max void energy, enhanced skills can be activated. Okay, so he works with void energy. I want to say, like, one point here is just that the characters look amazing. Like, the details on the armor, the faces, the animations and stuff like that, it looks so sick. So, with those three out of the way, we're going to jump in and have a look at the rest of them. Right, so here we are in the Descendant menu. As you can see, the first three characters that we got to choose between, Lepic, Ajax, and Viessa, are here. You can switch to them on the fly. You can sort of select which one you want to use at any point. They level by themselves individually, so if you get levels on, say, Ajax, and then you switch to Viessa, they won't carry over. So keep that in mind. And then you can also see the ones that we have not unlocked yet. We're going to check them out in just a brief moment. I'm going to mention, however, that you can hide the UI here and get like up close and personal with the Descendants. And this just highlights my favorite part of the First Descendant thus far. The graphics, the models, the detail. God, it looks amazing. It really does. It's quite something. So, with all of that out of the way, let's have a look. Our first new character is Ultimate Lepic, which is, granted, not a very interesting one to look at because it is basically the same as Lepic, where it has Grenade, which is just an explosive grenade, Power Stream, which is just a burn-inflicting grenade, like a dot, basically, Traction Grenade, which sucks the enemies in, and the Arm Launcher, which is just a big sort of explosive shot that does a slew of other stuff. You can see the tooltip is massive. It's all the same abilities as the previous one over here, just upgraded. I am not sure why he gets an ultimate version of himself, but the others don't. It is what it is. I'm not going to spend much time looking at Ultimate Lepic. I'm more interested in the other characters. So, let's move on. Jayber.
Turret, sync, battle preparations complete.
Wow. He looks amazing. God, look at all this cool stuff. Man. Now, what I am missing here is the little description of the character, which is unfortunate. It's not really giving us any history about the characters. I'm sure if you go on like the website or somewhere else, you could probably see that. But for the purposes of this in-game presentation of the heroes, they don't have that here. You can see his stats are actually quite different, which is nice to see. And he seems to be a summoner of sorts. He has Assault Turret that summons turret to attack the enemy. That's kind of cool. Medical Turret. And if you want to read the tooltips, just pause the video and look at the tooltip, because some of them are massive. This is a turret that heals allies. It lasts for 12 seconds and has HP equivalent to 607% of Jayber's HP. That sounds like a lot. That sounds like a lot. It also seems to taunt the enemies. Multi-purpose gun. It switches his weapon into the multi-purpose gun. Firing multi-purpose gun at a normal turret will switch the turret into enhanced status. Okay. And this does a whole bunch of other stuff. Total recall. This recalls all summoned turrets. Upon retrieval, the turrets fire 3 fragments to inflict enemies with skill attack times 659%. It seems like a very random number. And then his passive is turret sync. When an assault turret and a medical turret are both summoned, Jayber will enter turret sync mode. While in turret sync mode, Jayber's attack increases by 20%. Okay. And Jayber just looks awesome. I like it a lot. The design is cool. Speaking of cool designs, next up we have Bunny.
Are you ready to be thrilled?
She has... I'm trying to see where her sort of... Is it the same as his?
Turret.
Oh yeah, same. Okay, she has similar stats to him, if not exactly the same. I want to say she looks like she's sort of quicker. She actually looks like the Flash combined with something like Tracer. Combined with a Viessa from Final Fantasy XIV. Probably one of the coolest characters in the game. I'm just going to say that straight up now just because of how flashy she looks. Let's see what her abilities are. Electro Orb. Right, summons an Electro Orb to attack 6 closest enemies. Nice. I'm not sure why it's physical damage, but okay. Enters Joyride mode. Can only use Sprint in Joyride mode, and sprint speed increases by 50%. That's called Joyride. Damn, that looks really, really, really cool. I like it. I like that they call it Joyride as well. Pulsar. Enter Pulsar mode for 20 seconds. For every 6 meters moved, inflicts physical attack times 22%. I wonder if that works alongside Joyride. And you can see here her ability. This one specifically has Electrocution. Bunny's Electrocution effect inflicts physical attack times 21.1%. Okay, it inflicts electrocution. Circuit Breaker. Shoots out electricity forward to inflict constant damage of physical attack times to... Yeah, these percentages don't really make much sense. But the video tells us what we need to tell. It says everything, basically. This is like a lightning gun from Quake. I like it. The passive skill is Dynamo. Charges electricity by maximum electricity times 2% for every 1 meter moved. So she needs to move the whole time. 2.5 seconds after you stop moving, electricity is consumed by maximum electricity times 15% per 1 second. My god, this is hard to read. Anyway, you get the idea. You get the idea. Okay. She looks amazing, by the way. I really like it. Next we have Freyna.
Want to get through this? Do as I say.
Is that the same stats? Slightly different stats.
Do as I say.
Slightly different. She looks like she has poison. Yeah. I can just tell by the green and the like poison oozing out of whatever that is in her hand. She's got poison. Venom Baptism. Launches a poisoned bullet. Enemies hit by the bullet are inflicted a skill attack times 36%. On contact, the bullet creates 3 meter radius poison pool. I think it's easier just looking at the pictures and sort of taking it from there. This is Defense Mechanism. Enters Armor of Plague state. In Armor of Plague state, defense is increased. And enemies attacking the player are inflicted with Room Zero Trauma. Jeez. Room Zero Trauma poisons enemies within 8 meter radius. Room Zero Trauma. Okay. Decomposed Poison. Throws poison to create a poison swamp of 4 meter radius. Lasts for 12 seconds. Enemies that go in there take damage and have poison and venom injected effect. Venom injected enemies leave poison footprints as they move. Enemies touching the footprints are inflicted with the poison. My god. Dead Room. What is that? Switches a weapon to Dead Room. Returns the original weapon after 10 seconds. Enemies hit by Dead Room are inflicted with attack times 207% damage and Room Zero Trauma. Man, weird. Unauthorized Bullet. Enemies poisoned by Freyna's skills take 17% increased damage. Okay. Fantastic design once again, by the way. It looks really, really, really cool. Next up we have Gley.
To the Vulgus I gained power, but lost my daughter.
This is...
I'd give up my
wow.
power to get her back.
Interesting. She looks really cool. Active skill, Berserk. Enters Berserk mode. Long distance weapons attacks increased by 25%, penetration by 45%, consumes 27% of max HP immediately, and all HP recovery decreases by 60%. Okay, so she's an angry lady. Then we have Life Extraction. Recovers HP by 20% for every 1 enemy around an 8 meter radius. Alright. Inflicts different effects depending on Gley's state. 4 power of life are consumed. My god. So then it's got a normal mode and a berserk mode as well. Requiem. Inflicts different effect depending on Gley's state. Consumes 25% of max HP. Normal mode creates 5 meter radius area. Berserk mode 2.5 radius area for 5 seconds. Okay. Nosferatu. Interesting. It's like vampire powers or what. Switches Gley's weapon to Nosferatu. Uses all owned power of life, which equals number of bullets loaded into Nosferatu. It inflicts the same damage as Gley's weapon. Oh, yak. And then Death Sensor. An enemy killed by Gley drops a life sphere. A life sphere lasts for 7 seconds on the field. When obtaining a life sphere, Gley restores HP by 5% of max HP and gets 1 power of life. Gley can have up to 10 power of life. Alright. Okay. So this is like life and death. Control over life and death. What an awesome looking character. I think at the end we're going to go through all the characters again and just look at them all without the UI a little bit. I gotta do it. I gotta do it. Sharen. This is another lightning one. Cool. Cool. Sorry, the voices are like really, really soft, so I'm not really even bothering with them. I feel like, unfortunately, the lore has just been sort of cast aside in this. She looks super cool. And we're not really bothering with the lore. You know, the previous one said something about her daughter. This one, I don't know what she just said, but this is sick. Look at this. So, Cut-off Beam. Okay. Attacks enemies with the electric blade to deal physical damage. Yeah, and this also inflicts electrocution. Right. The electrocution effect inflicts physical attack times 13%. Electric attack times 1% every 1 second for 3 seconds. Okay. Okay. Then she has active camouflage. Hides from enemies within for 30 seconds. When attacking or using skills, the state ends immediately regardless of time remaining. When active camouflage state ends, Sharen enters ambush mode. Ambush for 3 seconds. Next attack is increased by 140%. Okay. Shock nuts. Okay. Launches built-in explosive forward from the arm. Stuns enemies. Okay. Shock nuts. I did not see that one coming. Amazing. Lights out. Wow, that's kind of cool. Jeez, that looks... Dude, the abilities also look fantastic. Not just the models. That looks sick. Target up to 10 enemies within aim-in range and throw multiple knives to attack them. Up to 3 knives can attack the same enemy, which explode to inflict enemies with 4-meter radius of physical attack 95%, electric attack 1%, explosion damage, and electrocution effect. Okay, her passive is Assassinator. Wow. Damage is increased by 8% when attacking an enemy that is not targeting Sharen. Whenever Sharen kills enemies with a skill in ambush state, cooldowns for active camouflage reset, but the effect does not take place for 45 seconds once it resets cooldown. Okay, so she looks really cool, yeah. And then finally we have Blair.
What's the mission again? Is it cooking? Or arson?
Okay, so he's is it cooking or arson? He says he's a fire guy. He's got decent stats. Stove on. Okay, so he's a chef, but also a murderer. I like it. Well, okay. I mean, an arsonist. let's stick with the law here. Emits flames to deal explosion damage of physical attack times 20%. Flame attack times 1% to enemies within 2 meters. Yeah, that could work on the tooltips here. These aren't super readable. Then stove. Enemies within 2 by 2 meter are inflicted with physical attack times 13. And so on and so forth. Also applies a burn effect. Stove off. Okay. Retrieve all stoves from the battlefield and restore mana. Can retrieve up to 3 stoves. That increases defense by 50% for 5 seconds. Flambe. Emit flames forward for 3.5 seconds. Enemies within a 1.5 meter radius from flames arrival point are inflicted with physical attack times 63% and flame attack damage times 1% every 0.5 seconds and burn effect. Okay. Okay. Then we have Chef's Star. Oh, he really is a chef. And an arsonist. Okay, I get it. Throws a large fireball forward. Large fireball split into 3 smaller fireballs upon impact, causing extra explosions. That's kind of sick. It looks really nice. A stove is created on the ground when a small fireball explodes. Okay. Then finally, Flame Manipulation. When attacking an enemy in burn state, critical damage is increased by 30%. Critical hit rate increases depending on the number of stoves in the battlefield. Okay, 1 stove 5, 2 stoves 9, and 3 stoves 14. Cool. Okay, so that is the final Descendant. Now what I'm going to do here at the end is I'm just going to go through them all with the UI hidden, so we can just have a quick peek at like what they look like up close and personal. You can enjoy this, and while you do, I'm going to say to you, hey, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you guys being here for this. And if you're playing the First Descendant, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear if you're having a good time with it. I'd love to hear if the game is fun. And then on top of that, I'd like to hear what you think about the Descendant choices. Yeah. I know this doesn't actually mean I'm going to leave right now, by the way. I just wanted to put that in here. Because I'm going to sit here and look at these guys. They look cool. They look nice.
I will show you how I returned.
I really like how busy it is. You know, sometimes when they sort of add all these different effects, sometimes when they add a lot of details onto shots like this, it actually looks bad. It looks like it's too much, you know, it's too cluttered. In this game's case, they actually do it perfectly. It's not that it's subtle, it's that the details that they add in don't actually detract the attention from the model itself. They enhance the model itself. It's really cool. Like, for instance, in this one, these little crystals stuck to him, they're super sick. Okay,
You wanna play
Viessa.
space tag?
And with her, the same thing with all this ice in the air around her. She kind of reminds me of like a different looking version of Nova from StarCraft. Then you combine that with like a Final Fantasy character, maybe Lightning, you know? I don't know, it's just sort of what I get from this. But man, she looks really cool. So many of them seem to have like robotic parts. Unless that is actually armor that she's wearing. I don't know, man. I don't know. But yeah, she looks cool. I like those things on the back as well. Very cool.
Strategy?
This guy is obviously different, you know? Obviously different. The color scheme is different. You can still see, obviously, he's got that big old arm there that can power up. I can't say whether I like this one or the other one more. I'm obviously a big fan of having the face visible. But either way, he looks sick. A lot of them have this really cool backpack thing on with the, well, it looks like boosters or something. It's nice. Oh, you can see his eyes through the visor. There we go. Cool. Nice. Jayber.
Sync. Battle preparations complete.
I like these bots. I like the little digi-cubes floating around in the air here as well, huh? They look cool. Super cool. Damn. Yeah, it's such great detail. If you're wondering what the banging is in the background, it's my wife in the gym. It's always my wife in the gym. This looks cool, yeah. So, a lot of these characters sort of, they feel quite familiar, but they're not exactly, you know? It's like they feel like I could possibly know who they are. I could possibly say, like, yeah, I know this character. I've seen him before somewhere. It's like they've taken, like, combinations of other characters, mashed them up, and they've got something that seems familiar, but actually isn't, and is unique and new. This character just looks amazing. Although this does look, oh my god, the butt shot. Oh man, it does seem like they sort of channel in a little bit of flash here, especially with like the running animation, the way it looks with the lightning and stuff, and yeah, it's cool. Honestly, it's really cool. Yeah, this is probably my favorite design. This one, Bunny.
You want to get through this? Do as I say.
I mean, they all look pretty cool, for real. But what is that little thing on her belt is like bopping and jiving, dude. I don't know what's going on over there. It's having a party. I really appreciate it when games add modes like this where you can actually like really zoom in up close. And you know there are people out there who are going to make like fantastic looking wallpapers from this and stuff like that. It's cool. It's cool. It must be a little breezy in this area. Okay, Gley.
Thanks to the Vulgus, I gained power, but lost my daughter. I'd give up my power to get her back.
That is so cool. That up close shot where they sort of blur out the background and they slowly bring it back into focus. It's nice. Like these artists had fun. They really did. Look at that. Awesome. Awesome. Sharen.
The Vulgus have some nice traits too. For instance, we can kill them without mercy.
So half her character is sort of like shrouded in this shot and it looks super cool. I like her face a lot. The little bit of face paint she has on there. I really think that if they do release skins and stuff for this game, they would look pretty cool. I mean, the detail here is just like astonishing. But like, imagine, man, if they have to release like unique skins for so many different characters, and then on top of that keep adding characters to keep things fresh. It'll be a lot of work. This game's gonna have to be successful for that to work. Yeah, so she looks cool. I like her. And then finally we have Blair.
What's the mission again? Is it cooking? Or arson?
He looks the most plain of all of them, I think. Even though he has a really cool, like, pose here, like some nice fire and stuff like that. Looks like he's got a Sandevistan on. yeah, that's what it looks like back there. Let's see if they can make it interesting with a shot. That's a good shot, yeah. That is interesting. Wow. I like that. And he's a good looking dude. Cool. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is that. I think that it's pretty cool. The characters look amazing here. It's nice that you actually get to unlock them all if you'd like to. It's nice that you can switch between them on the fly and just use whichever one you want whenever you want. Because it's a co-op looter shooter, you're going to want to sort of do what you want to do with your friends and sort of pick things to complement what they're doing and so on and so forth. Yeah. So, once again, let me know what you think.
I will show you
Who your favorite is, what you're going to be playing, what you're going to be spending time unlocking first, and all the rest. So check back here soon for more. Give this one a like and share it and do all that other good stuff.
Thanks to
And enjoy it if you jump into the First Descendant.
strategy.
Enjoy.
Shoot everything.
Happy that.